I'm so happy you're here. I'm Victoria, and today we're going to make one of my most favorite foods ever, pizza. I am gluten and dairy free, so today we are going to be making a dairy free, cheeseless pizza. And not just any pizza, not a, I won't want to say boring pizza because really no pizza is boring, but this one is so unique, and the process that I'm going to use here, you're going to have a pizza, and then at the end, I'm going to tell you how you can have a second meal with all the ingredients that we're making today. So today we are making a shrimp and leek cilantro pesto pizza. Yes, you heard me right, cilantro pesto. So for all you cilantro haters out there, don't stop watching. It'll be okay. I am not a huge cilantro fan. I'm really weird about cilantro, but in a pesto, I absolutely love it. So stick around, don't leave, don't be scared, it's gonna be fun. So the pizza, we're starting with a pizza crust. Obviously this is our pizza crust based on our recipe, and you can find the video link right up there. So it was frozen. I had made a batch of pizza crust and froze them, and I pulled it out a little while ago, so it's thawed right now, but you can certainly start with a frozen crust. And then we have our shrimp, we have prosciutto, leeks, and then we're going to be making some pesto. It's going to be absolutely delicious. So let's get started by jumping in and making the pesto. Okay, because we're doing a dairy-free, cheeseless pizza, we need a base for our pizza that's going to be exceptionally delicious and a little bit creamy. And that's why we're going to start with a pesto. Now, typically pestos, traditional pestos are made with basil and pine nuts or walnuts. And we're going to do, like I said earlier, cilantro. And the nut that I chose is a cashew. And the cashew is going to bring a nutty flavor, obviously, but it's going to bring a little bit of sweetness and a whole lot of creaminess to our pesto, which is going to make a wonderful base for our pizza. So I've got my food processor here, and the first thing I'm going to put in are my nuts. And what I've done with my nuts is I toasted them because I wanted to bring out even more of the oils and the flavor. And by toasting them very briefly on the stove, that's going to do it for you. You're going to want to put them into a cold skillet and just on a medium high and just watch them like a hawk. And as soon as you start smelling them toasty, you pull them off and you're good to go. If you leave it on much longer than that, you're gonna burn them and it's not gonna be good. So I've got the cashews in, and then I've got 2 cloves of garlic. Garlic is kind of a critical component to pesto. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix these up a little bit because they're a little bit harder. So I'm gonna get them broken up before I put the cilantro in. Okay, I think that's good enough. And so I don't know about you, but whenever recipes call for 4 cups of some sort of herb, I'm like, how do you measure that? Do you get the little cup thing out? Do you use a measuring bowl? So I'm going to answer that question for you. Put it in a measuring cup, 4 cups. If you're a little off, a little over, a little under, the world's not coming to an end. And that also includes the stems. There is tons of flavor in the stems of herbs. So don't think that you need leaves only for 4 cups. So this is 4 cups. I might have I don't know, I might have packed it a little bit, but that's about 4 cups. So now I am going to pulse this and start chopping this up a bit. Uh-oh. No, you got to get in there. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go in here and I'm going to push things around a little bit. And it's going to need a little moisture in here to really start chopping it up. So I'm going to pour a little bit of the olive oil in here now. It's going to give it some friction. There. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so you're going to want to, mix it until it really starts to chop up. Okay, that should be good. Okay. One of the main reasons that pesto is not dairy-free is the cheese. There is typically either Parmesan cheese, Parmesan Reggiano. You could use, what is the sheep cheese? Thank you, Rich. Pecorino Romano, which is sheep-based cheese, which I can actually tolerate in small doses, but I want to make this completely dairy-free, which is actually kind of how I prefer it. So I'm going to use nutritional yeast, which has a cheesy, nutty flavor. And once it's incorporated into the pesto, you're going to really think there's some Parmesan cheese in here. So I'm going to put that in now. And it looks like a lot, but you really need that to give it the flavor that you're going to expect from pesto. I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil. And I'm going to mix again. And it's going to take a little bit to get it all incorporated in there well. And so now while it's pretty incorporated, I'm going to pour in the rest of the oil. Well, maybe not the rest of it. I'm going to pour half of the rest. And I'm going to check it. Ooh, that's looking pesto-y. Look at that. Your pesto shouldn't be too dry, nor should it be too oily either. And because we're putting on a pizza, and I'm probably going to lean toward the tighter, drier side of it. And then I'll show you what to do if you want to store it in the refrigerator. That's going to kind of restore some of that oiliness to it, which will make it last a little longer and better. Okay, I think I'm going to put just a little bit more oil in here. And mix it up some more. Oh, that's smelling, ooh, amazing. Okay, now for the taste test. Okay, that is absolutely perfect. You can see it's not too dry and it's not too oily either. I think I love that consistency, especially for the pizza. Okay, let's try some. Oh, it is so good. The first thing you taste right on your lips and on the tip of your tongue is that hint of sweetness from the cashews, which I think that's why I like the cilantro pesto, because I'm not a huge cilantro fan. I think it's that cashew that really balances it out. It definitely needs some salt, so I'm going to add that now. I'm going to add a little pepper because why not? It's pepper. I add salt and pepper to everything, I think. Mix it up a little bit. Okay, give it another try. Oh yeah, I definitely like that. I'm going to add even just a little bit more salt. And it has a really good garlic level with those 2 cloves of garlic in here. But if you want less garlic or more garlic, you can determine how much you put in here. Okay, well, our pesto's done. I'm going to pull out about 2 ounces or so, because that's what's going to go on the pizza. And the rest of this, I'll show you later how to store it in the refrigerator. I'm just going to do a little bit more. I can always put it back. Okay, so I'm going to put this aside for when we make the pizza. Okay, so now we're going to cook the prosciutto, the leeks, and the shrimp in that order in the same pan, but not at the same time. Whenever I use prosciutto or pancetta or bacon, I like to start in a cold pan. And before I forget, which I just about did, I'm going to preheat the oven for the pizza to 400 degrees. I have a pizza stone in there, and so it's going to heat up along with the oven. If you're going to use a pizza stone, do not put it in after you've heated up the oven. You want to put it in before you heat up the oven. Okay, so I'm adding the prosciutto to a cold pan, and I'm going to put it on medium high. You can use prosciutto, you can use pancetta, you can use bacon. I was fortunate to find this prosciutto is already diced, which was wonderful. I got it at Kroger or King Soopers. I think it was the Private Selection brand. Again, you could use pancetta or you could use bacon. So know that this is going to bring lots of salt to the party here, so we're probably not going to salt anything along the way. And I'm going to cook this to where it is a little crispy and done, but not completely done because it's going on the pizza. Okay, so the prosciutto is cooked down to the amount that I want. It's not crispy, and pretty much most of the fat is rendered out. And there wasn't a ton of fat in here, as you can see in the pan. It's going to cook some more in the oven, so I'm going to pull it off onto a plate with some paper towels, which will soak up some of the oil. Okay, everybody out of the pan. Okay, and so I'm leaving the heat on. One piece, no prosciutto left behind. And because there wasn't a lot of oil that came out, a lot of fat, so I'm going to put a little sunflower oil in the pan, and I'm going to add the leeks. If you're not familiar with leeks, they're in the onion family, and they're going to add a nice, a very subtle oniony little sweet flavor. So the goal here is just kind of soften them up a bit. Soften them up a little bit until they're translucent, kind of like onions. Very, very similar. Well, they are technically an onion. Now, typically I would salt these, but I tasted the prosciutto and it is pretty salty, and some of that was left in the pan here too, so these are going to pick up some of that salt. But I am going to put some pepper on here. Okay, so the leeks are done now. They were starting to brown, so I had to turn the heat down a little bit because that's not what we wanted. We didn't want them browned, so I'm getting all the leeks out of the pan. Okay, leeks are out of the pan. I'm going to add some more sunflower oil here for the shrimp. Get them in. They're not going to take too long to cook. And I need to turn my heat up a little bit. Okay, all the shrimp are in the pan, and I'm going to flip them here shortly. Let me take a look at what's going on the other side here. Oh yeah. Because as soon as they start to cool, they're going to be done. And it's going to take me a while to flip all these, so it's going to be perfect. By the time I'm done, the last one's in will be ready to be flipped. Okay, our shrimp look like they're just about done, so I'm going to turn off the heat and remove them to a plate I have here. And now let's go make a pizza. Okay, so before we start to assemble our pizza, we have to do something to the shrimp. Now this is somewhat optional. You can put the shrimp on as they are, but I feel it makes for a little bit too much of a mouthful. So what I like to do is slice the shrimp in half. Now you can take the shrimp and slice it this way. I am not all that good at it, but you know, I just did it and wow, okay, so maybe I'm better at this than I thought. I think it's going to take about 7 shrimp. So I'm going to slice 7 shrimp and we'll see if I'm close. I just like to have a better mouth feel on the pizza rather than this big piece of shrimp. So that's why I'm doing this. Now alternately, you could cut it like this if you don't feel comfortable doing the horizontal method. See, that works as well. I lost count of how many shrimp I have. I think this is 5. I don't know. We can always cut more though. Okay, I think I got one more and then we'll be good. Now I mentioned earlier in the video that I was going to show you what you could do with these ingredients, but I think I forgot to mention the fact that's why we made so much. Obviously I'm using 7 shrimp out of all these shrimp I made, and I have a whole lot more pesto, more leek, more prosciutto, and so that kind of will explain it, and it'll all be clear after the pizza's out of the oven and I explain to you what you can do with all the rest of these ingredients. Okay, so now it's time to actually make our pizza. I have the pizza crust on a pizza peel because I'm going to slide it into the oven on the pizza stone. The first thing that goes down is going to be the pesto, and it's settled a little bit while it was sitting here, so I'm stirring it up. And you can put on as much or as little pesto as you want. This is all, you know, personal preference. There's no right or wrong. On the recipe it says 2 ounces because that's usually a really good amount of sauce to put on a pizza, but you can put much less or much more. I usually like to put it on here till it looks well spread out, but remember there's no cheese on this pizza, so the goal here is to make it so flavorful and delicious that you don't miss the cheese, so you don't want to skimp on any of the ingredients for sure. I usually like to leave about a 1/2 inch or so around the edge of the crust being untouched by any of the toppings. Okay, so I think that amount works well. Okay, that's done. And so the next thing I want to put down are the leeks. I'm going to spread those around. It's not a opaque layer of leeks. I'm going to leave a little room in there that you can see some of the pesto coming through. Don't want to get too much leek action on here. Okay, I think that is super. And now I'm going to put the shrimp on. And let's see. And you want to arrange the shrimp pretty close to each other so that you get the shrimp in every slice. You don't want to be so sparse that you're like, where's the shrimp? Oh my God, look at that. 7 shrimp. I was right. I like when I'm right. I just, if I wasn't right, then I would like that I wasn't right. So there you go. Okay, so now I've got the prosciutto here. Let's put this on. Now I don't want to be too heavy with this because again, this is pretty salty, but it's going to add a nice flavor to this pizza. Oh God, I cannot wait to eat this pizza. This is smelling so wonderful. Okay, I think I like my my toppings the way they are, and we are ready for the oven. So it's going to cook for 400 minutes. Wouldn't that be interesting? It's going to cook at 400. Anywhere for 10 to 15 minutes. Again, we don't have cheese to kind of gauge this by. Generally, when you're cooking a pizza, when the cheese is all melted, you're done. So we're going to go by the crust. I don't like a really, really brown crust, so I'm going to go for kind of a medium golden brown crust. Obviously, the ingredients are all cooked. They're just going to cook a little bit more and warm up and meld together. So in the oven we go. Okay. Oh, that looks just like I like it. Not too crispy and not too soft. There we go. As I slide that out. Oh yeah, oh, that's perfect. That is an absolutely beautiful, perfect golden brown, just like I like it. Okay, my wonderfully cooked pizza is out of the oven. The smells are just so amazing. I cannot wait to dig into this. But because I think almost always I have to put something on a pizza when it comes out of the oven, I am adding a lemon aioli that I made. So basically it's pretty easy. It's mayonnaise with some lemon juice and a little Worcestershire. And the reason I'm adding this is I want a little more creaminess because again, we have no cheese on this pizza. And I want the lemon flavor, which obviously is going to go well with the shrimp, to be a bit of a foil to all the richness in the shrimp and the prosciutto and the pesto. So I've got it in a squeeze bottle here. And I am just going to drizzle it on, if I can get it out here. Like that, you can put as little or as much as you want. And since it's mayonnaise, I'm going to put a fair amount on here. Oh my God, that looks so beautiful. And then the other addition, which I'm going to show you, but not put on because I don't like spicy stuff, is some red pepper flakes. That would be a wonderful addition to this pizza if you like things a little spicy. I wish I did, but I don't, so it's going to stay in the bowl right now. So the only thing left to do is cut. So I'm going to take my big, huge knife here and take one cut across. Turn it. Basically going to cut it into eighths. And one more. I am not the world's best pizza cutter, but I think I did pretty good there. Oh, now the question is, which piece do I try? Okay, I'm going to go for this one, I think. Yep, there's a little piece of shrimp here that wants to come along for the ride. Okay, here we go. Oh, hold on. Oh, all those flavors smell so amazing. I'm going in. Oh my God, it is so good. The pesto is creamy and herbaceous, and I can get the garlic from that. I'm getting the garlic from that. The shrimp is obviously delicious and shrimpy. And the prosciutto adds this nice little pop of saltiness and flavor. And I am so happy I put that lemon aioli on the top because that really adds to the creaminess. There is no way I care one iota that there's no cheese on this pizza. This is so good. I'm going to have to really, really work on not eating this entire pizza. Oh my goodness, you're going to love this. And you're going to love it so much, you're going to be like, hey, what can I have these flavors on in addition to pizza? So that brings us to what you can do with your extra ingredients. So let me slide this pizza off to the side. Get rid of my knife. And I also want to show you what you can do with your pesto. But this is what you do for your next meal. You take some gluten-free pasta. I would recommend fettuccine. As a matter of fact, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use fettuccine because I love the flatness of the fettuccine and the thickness of the noodle. And so you cook up some fettuccine, you drain it, you put it in a bowl, you add your pesto, and you mix it up, and then you add your shrimp, your prosciutto, and your leeks, and there you go. You have a shrimp and leek pasta, shrimp, leek, cilantro pesto pasta. Such a quick and easy meal. You can even save some of the aioli and put that on the top as a nice garnish. You can add the roasted red pepper flakes. You can add some parsley. So if you make this pizza one night, you can have the pasta version a couple nights from now. So it's kind of multi-purpose. To me, it made no sense to make, 7 shrimp, a little bit of leeks. It's like, even if I wasn't making the pasta, I would munch on the shrimp later in the week. The leeks would find their way onto something, and same with the prosciutto. So, okay, so I promised you I was going to show you what to do with your pesto and how to store it. Okay, so I've got this pesto in the bowl. I'm going to mix it up here. Now, the oil will always separate as it sits. That's perfectly fine. When you mix it together, it'll reincorporate. So right before I put it in the refrigerator, I'm going to take olive oil and put a layer on the top. And I might need a little more than I have right here, but I think this might be good. What that's going to do, it's going to keep it moist, and it's also it's going to help keep it from turning brown, which it will most likely do in the refrigerator if you don't do this. So now I'm just going to put some plastic wrap on top of it, or you can put this in a container and then put the oil on it and put it in the refrigerator. So it'll be perfectly wonderful when you're ready to do your pasta version of this dish. So there you have it, another absolutely delicious, dairy-free, cheeseless pizza that you are going to love. I'm on this, we don't need no cheese on pizza, and I'm just going to keep making these until I get you to believe that, but I think it won't take too much. But I'm just going to keep making these because, I love to eat them. Thank you so very much for watching. If you're interested in some of our other dairy-free, gluten-free pizzas, just check out the video link right up here. And if you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and enable notifications so you know when all our new videos come out. And the full recipe for this pizza is included in the description down below. And until next time, happy eating.